going on, everybody? DjGoHam here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to take a look at the top 100 things that you wanted to see in Farming Simulator 21. Keep in mind that everything we talk about today is in reference to all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Mac, and whatever else they decide to release it for. We're going to break everything down into a few different categories: vehicles, equipment, crops, maps, animals, game mechanics, new brands, and things that definitely won't happen. Let's check it out. First up, let's talk about vehicles. Now, nothing in this list is in any order except for one thing, and I'll let you know what that is when we get there. But first, let's talk about vehicles. Things that you guys wanted to see were older tractors base game, more two-wheel drive tractors, American Claas machines, riding lawnmowers, more tractors without closed cabins, or maybe no cabin at all, John Deere 9R and 9RX as base game, older international tractors, JCB telehandlers, more American vehicles in general. There's a lot of EU stuff. A bulldozer, maybe something that works like a landscape tool, a truck with a fifth wheel hitch standard in game, an American dump truck, the option to have US and EU and other options as well, just like we have in some of the mods instead of everything being EU or just American. A snowmobile for base game because of the #1 requested mod, a backhoe, boats, planes, helicopters, things that we can use in the air or maybe on the water, more vehicles to buy like cars, trucks, jeeps, that kind of thing, and a tow truck or a wrecker. Equipment that you guys wanted to see was just more John Deere implements in general. You want to see a lot of John Deere stuff, and I'm right there with you. More hand tools other than just a chainsaw. Maybe you've got a shovel or a hoe, or maybe some bolt cutters, something like that. It just other things other than the chainsaw. Crop dusting, I think, would be super awesome as well. Gravity wagons, a chain to move equipment just like the tow bar works, or maybe a winch on the front or rear of some vehicles to work like the tow bar does. Rock picking, which I really want to see. That's one of my top 3 things for Farming Simulator 21. More chaff trailers that pull behind the forage harvesters for those who do silage in single player. Just like myself, it would be nice to just hook up and go. More gooseneck trailers, or just gooseneck trailers, period, so that you can use with maybe a truck with a fifth wheel. More equipment for potatoes, and an axe for logging. As far as crops go, you guys didn't really want to see too much. You're pretty straightforward. Just more crops in general, just whatever you'd be happy with. Carrots, grapes, peas, string beans, peanuts, rye, triticale, and alfalfa, and corn stalk bales. Other than that, it was just kind of whatever would be nice, just anything new. Kind of the same thing with maps as well, just larger maps in general, or different size maps, just all together. Maybe we've got smaller ones, maybe we've got larger ones, maybe we've got one that's the same size now. Be nice to have more than just 2 options base game as well. Again, we know there's a lot of mods that come out, a lot of mod maps, but everything's kind of the same size, more or less. It's either the same size or smaller. It's nothing any bigger. Be nice to have something like that as well. And possibly different maps that specialize in things that are base game, like a large-scale cow farm, or maybe one that's made just for crops, and there's no animals at all. Something like that, just something different. As far as animals go, you guys were very, very specific with this one. You want to visually see young and old animals, so calves, baby pigs, baby sheep, etc., things like that. And maybe when they get older as well, it's kind of obvious they're kind of run down, slightly wrinkly, just it's very obvious which ones are the young ones, which are the full-grown but healthy, and which animals are older. Also, different cattle like we have in Seasons 19. The ability to move animals from different pastures, so maybe moving your cows to a pigsty or a pig pasture in general, or maybe your sheep to a cow pasture if there's no cows in it. Maybe you'd be able to use some of the same facilities for those sheep as well. More wildlife in general, maybe wildlife that can be interacted with. It's probably not going to get to the point where RDR2 is, but it would just be nice to have something like that. Also, goats. You guys really wanted to see goats. Goats did seem like goats and baby calves were the #1 requested that you guys want to see. Also, something that I added to the list, I didn't see this, but dogs that do what was teased in FS19. Dogs that just follow you around, hang out, do dog stuff. They don't just run around their house constantly. It'd be cool to have them just follow you around. Next up, game mechanics, and you were adamant that in Farming Simulator 21, Seasons is base game. And I'm right there with you guys. Unfortunately, in FS17, we didn't know that Seasons was in testing for console. So there was no time of saying like, oh man, it just dropped. We had no idea. That was the way it was. However, in 19, it's just kind of like a, we're being teased. And I know they wanted us to see it. And I know it's not being teased on purpose, but it feels like we're being teased on purpose, especially at this point. It's been in testing for so long, and I know they want it to work. But Seasons as base game, part of Farming Simulator 21, something that you can turn on or off in the main menu. Maybe it's something you can turn on and off for a map in general. Set all your settings before you start the map, and then in the map, once you get started, maybe you can't change it, and that's okay, because that'll make people put the right settings in the first time. Hazard lights. This was number 2. Hazard lights was huge. You guys want to be able to turn hazard lights on, not only on a PC, but on console. Now, the only thing that I can really think of is the restriction of the controller for console itself. There's not a whole lot going on with that. There's not a whole lot more buttons. That's why we have, left bumper and right bumper, L1, R1, and then together, and maybe they're not on at all. There's only so much you could do, but it would be really nice to see. Also, manual attach. Maybe this can be turned on and off in settings as well, just like Seasons would be. It would be really cool to see something like that. I would never use it, but a lot of you guys want to see. This was the number 3. That was like in-game mechanics. It was like the number 3 most requested thing. All mods tested by Giants to be released for all platforms. More love for the American audience in general. There's a huge community of American YouTubers, farmers in general, and they want to see more American stuff. So we're just going to leave it at that. More American stuff in general. Not everything being European, even the American maps. Come on, man, it's a little bit European in it. The ability to hunt animals, this is something I'm not sure if we could see or not. Obviously, this is a wish list, but I'm not sure we'd be able to see something like that. One thing that may be my number 1 thing, or maybe number 2, physical damage for vehicles and equipment. Maybe, again, this is something we can turn on and off in settings. Maybe it's always on, maybe it's always off, whatever. It'd be really cool to see physical damage on vehicles and equipment. I think that would be really cool. Couple more that kind of go with that. More realistic maintenance and damage for equipment. So maybe tires pop, axles break, engine repairs are needed, etc. Maybe you have to tow something. The tow truck would come in handy for that. Maybe something breaks down in the middle of the field and you've got to get it fixed. So you grab your toolbox, get out there, and get to work on it. That would be really cool. Also, rain causing mud and puddles in the road, and terrain grip changing. So vehicles and equipment visually struggling, plus the ability to maybe drift the vehicles. Get out there in the rain. You see like drifting tractor videos all the time. They pop up on mine every single day. It's like, farmer drifts tractor, old John Deere and hay barn, something like that. It's like the one that always keeps popping up. It's so cool. I always watch it because it makes you happy. You're like, that's so cool. It would be neat to be able to try and do something like that in Farming Simulator. Also, tractors driving on the road, not just cars, seeing more stuff going on. Having more than like 3 different vehicles that are in game that just drive around. And not only that, but to be able to push them off the road. You could do that a couple games ago, and you can't do that anymore. Couldn't do it in 17, can't do it in 19. I don't think you could do it in 15 if my memory serves me correctly either. But it'd be really cool to just like, hey, you're in my way, and just push them off the road. Maybe they get back on. Maybe once you hit a car, it's immobilized forever, and you can just push it around. Either way, that would be really, really cool. Also, the ability to buy used equipment. This was definitely a top 5 for you guys. Being able to buy used equipment. Maybe it's at a used dealer with limited stock. Maybe it's at a scrap yard and you put together something. You get a battery from over here and you get a brake pad from over there, whatever. To be able to maybe put together your own Frankenstein tractor. That would really take some serious work, and I understand that, but it would just be really cool if something like that could be it. But the ability to buy used equipment, especially at a dealer with a limited stock, I think that's highly doable. Also, the ability to have a rotating selection of equipment available right away, not just in stock. Maybe stuff that's not in stock takes longer, but maybe they have something in stock and you're like, well, I wanted this engine, but this engine's here. Again, it would make it more realistic. I think it would be cool. It would also irritate a lot of people who are like, I just want it right now. Why can't I have it just right now? So I can see both sides of that. Would it be cool? Yes. Would it irritate some people? Yes. Different places to buy different machinery. So maybe you've got a John Deere dealer. Maybe you've got a Case dealer. Maybe you've got somebody who specializes in 3-meter cultivators. Heaven forbid. Maybe something like that. That would be really neat. And I support that 100%. Again, probably be very difficult to do, though. Other farmers working in the fields. Maybe you've got other farmers around doing stuff in their fields. It's a field that you don't own. Maybe since the farmer is in that field doing something, you can't buy that field right away. You have to wait. The farming simulator, one thing that you can basically do is do whatever you want whenever you want, especially without seasons being turned on. And that would actually make you wait. Be like, okay, he's in the field doing his thing, and maybe the tractor just disappears. But I think that would be cool, something like that. More options to play the game as more of a role-play game. Maybe you've got to eat, sleep, etc., stuff like that to stay healthy. That'd be very interesting. Also, the ability to dig in the ground. This was another top 5 request that you guys had. I know that we have landscaping, but I know that you guys want to be able to just dig in the ground. Maybe you just want to dig a hole. Well, go for it. Dig a hole. I definitely know that the way Farming Simulator 19 and the way Farming Simulator 17 and pretty much every game before that was, unless it's like a PC mod map, which again, totally fine. That being on PC, totally cool. The fact that they would have to completely change everything, I don't know if this is something that we would be able to see. But having the landscape tool definitely is nice. Something else right here. More ability to crash your own game. And by that, equipment limit removed, or at least eased up a bit. So maybe it's got a thing, the thing's up there, so it says like you've got 1,200 slots. And you get close to it, starts getting red, and then you get over 1,200, maybe you've got like 1,400. And it's just bright red. But it lets you do it. Because it says like, hey, we told you not to do it, but you're going to crash your game. Happens on PC all the time. It takes forever to load a game, and then it takes forever once you get in for everything to kind of settle down. I've got 2 or 3 game saves like that. Actually, the original John Deere versus Case Farm, I had to completely scrap it because I had too much going on, and because I was playing it on PC, I had no idea that it was too much going on. So, just keep that in mind. Maybe just needed more RAM. Manual gear shifting. You guys want to see that as well. Manual gear shifts. Passengers in vehicles. So we have the passenger mod. But you guys want to be able to put more than one person. Maybe use it like Grand Theft Auto. Like, yeah, there's 4 seats. You should be able to put 4 people in there. That would be cool. Buddy seats in combines and tractors, stuff like that. I think that would be really, really neat. Also, the availability or the ability to tie down equipment to trailers and low loaders. Stuff flies off all the time, and having the ability to tie something down would be incredible. Also, landscape with vehicles and equipment instead of using the landscape tool. A little bit more realism that way. I think that would be really neat, but I like the landscape tool, so let's not get rid of that if this is something. Diff lock for difficult field work like in Mud Runner. Isn't the Mud Runner forms of kind of tied in some way, shape, or form? Let me know down in the comment section below. So having a diff lock that we could turn on and off as we wanted to would be really cool, especially if it rained and we're in the mud and we're like, you know what, we're going to till the ground anyway. We would get stuck. So maybe having something diff lock. Right now, it's like diff lock is on all the time. So having something like that would be really cool. GPS mod. This is not sure. I'm not sure if this is something we could see, but having GPS mod in the game, I think it would be really cool. Regardless, I probably wouldn't use it, but it is there. Tractor screens actually working, or at least showing more than the miles per hour. Maybe it shows the map. That'd be a good idea. If the screens in the tractor just shows the map, where you're at, and shows you driving around it. That would be cool. Right now, it just kind of hangs out, and that's kind of meh. It's lackluster and takes away from the fun of being in first person. The ability to overfill tractors and combines. Maybe be able to turn this on and off because I would mess up real bad. But again, just like having the ability to crash your own game with more mods installed, And I reiterate that because that's why that limit is in there, so that your game does not crash. But having the ability to overfill your trailers, maybe it says like, hey, you've got 40 or 15,000 liter capacity in this combine, and if you go over that too much, you're going to spill. But where? You don't know. But when you get close to it, you stop immediately because you don't want to get to that point. Or maybe you do. I don't know. It'll be cool. Buildings damaged if hit or bumped into, and the ability to repair it with tools. That would be something incredible as well. I think that'd be awesome because I would have to do that all the time. Again, maybe we turn this on and off in settings. Maybe there's just a button that says realism. Turn it on and off. Yeah, let's turn that off. Fuel going down faster. So I understand how fuel is. It's extremely realistic right now. But we are not driving one tractor for 12 hours a day. Maybe some of you guys are. But I'm only in game playing Farming Simulator 2 to 3 hours a day. And I'm not using the same tractor the whole time. So I'm not seeing that fuel gauge go down. I'm sure you guys are not either. So it'd be really nice where in game, maybe the fuel is going down. Maybe fuel's cheaper, but maybe the fuel is going down 3 to 4 times faster than it is now. And I think that maybe even 10 times faster than it is now. I would be totally cool with that. Definitely cool with that. Maybe an easy way to do that would be to say, like, okay, if everybody's playing in x5, which is where the game starts you at, the game kind of almost wants you to play in x5. So if you're playing in x5 and you drove your tractor around for, let's say, 16, 15 hours in that day, you're probably going to go through an entire tank of fuel, maybe one every 2 days. So whatever that would be, make it to that. I think that would work just fine. We've also got ground compaction and the effects of it on your crops. I'm not sure how this would work in game, but I know there's some tires that have ground textures and they affect the ground differently. This would go down into the soil, so it wouldn't just be with the crop itself. This would have something to do with the soil. That'd be really, really neat. Another one that you guys said was field fires. This would terrify me because I'm bad with TNT on Minecraft already. So having a fire in my field would just, it would scare me and I would scream. Different weather, so wind, hail damage to the crops, not just damage in general or just hail in general like we have. Maybe it damages your tractors. Maybe you've got a tornado. Maybe there's a hurricane, something like that. Something that it's like, this is really bad. Cross-platform play with console and PC. Unlimited amount of houses. Yeah, the person that commented on this said, why is this a thing? And I'm right there with you. Why is the unlimited amount of houses? Why do we only have to have one per farm? Let me put down like 4 or 5. We could do that on other maps already. There's like 6 houses down. You could sleep at all of them in one farm. But you can't do it on your own. Doesn't make any sense to me because it works. And we've proven that it works. Also, mods in contracts, like in FS17. So this is interesting because you can use your own equipment in contracts, but they don't give you those equipment, if that makes sense. So as you guys know, in Farming Simulator 17, you had to use whatever equipment they gave you. You couldn't use your own. Now you can use your own, which could be a mod. Maybe it's not a mod. But the contract mission doesn't give you mods. And I think that's done like that on purpose. Maybe it was something that was overlooked, but this would be cool nonetheless. Virtual reality support. Yes. So there you go. I know we talked about for about 15 and a half minutes on game mechanics, but game mechanics were huge. The next to last thing today, new brands. So you guys want to see some Vermeer, Chevy, Dodge, Ford, Kubota, Jeep, Kenworth, Peterbilt, Land Rover, Gleaner, Caterpillar, Tiger Cat, Prentice, Weiler, Versatile, Farmall, Freightliner, Mack, and MacDon. Those were quite a few of the ones that I saw. And last but not least, things that just won't happen. Extra name brands with new mods. Giants do not own the rights to these, and so therefore they cannot physically let them release. So that's something that's just not going to happen because it's not legal. Auto load log trailers being in base game. I don't think it's going to happen because everything, or pretty much everything that Giants has base game is realistic or actually exists. Auto load log trailers do not exist. So that's something that I don't think we'll see. And game saves from 19 to 21 or from 17 to 19 to 21. It was just something that didn't really make sense to me. I was like, well, that was not the same thing. Everything's different. Even a map that is exactly the same, it's the same. We have Lone Oak in both. We have Sussex Farm in 17 and 19. Your game save's not going to work because it's a completely different game. Yes, it's Farming Simulator, but it's a completely, totally different game. So it's just not going to work like that, unfortunately. Well, guys, that is going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like on the video, get subscribed to the channel, turn the notification bells on when you do, and let me know, is there something that I missed? Is there something that you're like, DJ, this was huge. How did you miss this? Let me know what that is down in the comment section below. And if I didn't say the one that you wanted to see, let me know what that is as well. With all that being said, I hope you have a great day, and we will see you later. Peace!